Zombies. What are they? Flesh-eating monsters? Slow-roaming killers? Servants to a greater evil? Zombies can be seen just about anywhere in modern media and entertainment. They can be found in video games, movies, even board games. We've grown to love zombies, so much so that we've even made movies about loving them. But where did they originate? How did they evolve over time? And do they symbolize anything today? The first recognized zombie movie was a film from 1932 called White Zombie. No, not the song. But the word actually predates the movie. Many of my sources actually point to Haiti in the late 17th century, back when it was a French-owned sugar plantation. Mike Mariani, in his article, The Tragic Forgotten History of Zombies, writes, though suicide was common among slaves, those who took their own lives wouldn't be allowed to return to Languenet. Instead, they'd be condemned to sulk the Hispaniola plantations for eternity. An undead slave at once denied their own bodies and yet trapped inside them. A soulless zombie. End quote. A zombie was essentially another form of slavery that, if attempted to escape by death, you'd still remain to serve forever. After that, he goes on to talk about the revolution of 1804. The zombie remained as part of Haiti's folklore, and this is where we get one of the first progressions of the myth. Mariani writes again, the myth evolved slightly and was folded into voodoo religion, with Haitians believing that zombies were corpses reanimated by shamans and voodoo priests, end quote. For context purposes, voodoo religion originates from Haiti, so this time we're not becoming zombies through suicide, but we are brought back from the dead to serve a shaman. This is the kind of zombies we see in White Zombie, mere servants for trivial tasks. But wait, aren't zombies supposed to eat my brains? Not that it'd be a very appetizing meal. Where did those come from? Well, according to Sarah Davis' article, Movie History, Bring Out the Undead, The Evolutions of Zombies on Film, a British company called Hammer Films released a movie in 1966 called The Zombie, which is the first time we see corpses that are decaying. However, credit is given to George A. Romero with his 1968 movie Night of the Living Dead for the modern flesh-eating, dead, and rotting zombie. I just want to jump in really quick and say that the time period between these two was basically Nazi zombie movies due to the fears coming from World War II, but that didn't really evolve the zombie. It just meant that rather than shaman making the zombies, it's Nazis. Anyway, back to the video. This is also the first time we see that zombies make other zombies by biting them. Romero then went on to making another zombie movie 10 years later called Dawn of the Dead, which has become a figurative godfather to all zombie movies, both ripoffs, parodies, and an influence to carry on for decades. So cool, alright. But wait, why? You'd think a bunch of movies about people getting chased by the same monster over and over again would get boring after a while, right? How has the zombie stayed alive and present in pop culture today? Mariani later goes on to talk about how zombies are used to explore past and present fears. People are able to imagine their own destruction with all these wars. With the world witnessing what can happen with today's weapons, evidenced by Hiroshima and Nagasaki, an apocalypse seems feasible. So much so that I Am Legend, a movie about a scientist in a post-apocalyptic world, has even been remade. Mariani quotes Elmo Keep's article, All You Zombies, petty frustrations and mundane realities of real life all disappear, as do the complexities. End quote. This also gives writers the freedom to put characters in situations that is much easier to show the depths of human behavior, survival being a common theme. Most zombie movies today are about surviving the outbreak or living with the constant threat and have nearly become a saturated genre. There has to be something else adding to the hype, right? Well, I do believe the gaming market can help us with that. In 1996, Capcom releases the video game Resident Evil for the Sony PlayStation. This isn't the first time we've seen zombies in a video game, but this is one of the most notable ones. The Resident Evil franchise is a zombie survival game with puzzles and mystery. A game about a special unit investigating a company suspected of developing a virus that brings people back from the dead, and then the player is tasked with unfolding the mystery and escaping. It's almost like you can make a couple movies off of that, but yeah, whatever. And there's tons more games too. The release of the hit title Doom in 1993 showed that there was a market for mindless shooting. Quick disclaimer here, I understand that Doom opened the door for much more complex and interactive gameplay, but the occasional arcade desire of wanting to turn off your brain and submit your conscience to a more intellectual force to do mindless tasks of virtually killing mindless beings, it's almost like you become a zombie playing zombie shooters. Unless you're one of those nerds who strategizes rather than having fun. Yeah, I'm adding you, Jeremy! I guess what I'm trying to get at is that zombies originate from a myth long before movies were around. The door was open with the large-scale wars and consumers getting to see a new age of products and entertainment. Today, they are a symbol of escaping to a world rid of trivial issues. Maybe zombies will stick around. I mean, it's not like there's fear of a virus spreading across the world, which will show up anytime soon.